Twins, they split the doubleheader today with Cleveland. Win game one, lose game two. No ground taken for good or bad. Full deep dive, though, coming up next on the Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast, your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins postcast episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Main man with me, CJ Baumgartner. Follow him on X if you haven't already, at BaumCJ30. CJ, Twins split this doubleheader, which we'll do a deep dive into and talk about a little bit more. But I just want to start here real quick off the top, because I feel like when people look at the box score tomorrow morning in the paper, there might be a little bit of confusion. Bailey starts game one, looks fine, pretty solid per usual. They pull him after they, quote unquote, right, 3 innings that you're going to see in the box score. They plug in Joe Ryan. Walk us through just the whole process, the mindset, the game plan, the blueprint, if you will, the short leash today with the pitching plans Rocco and company deployed.
Yeah, so I mean, really what happened is, the game got suspended after the 3rd inning, so they essentially just put the game on pause because they don't want to have to start completely at the beginning. Right. And so when you take that break, Bailey Ober did start, but, he basically had thrown, he made an appearance, and it just wouldn't be wise, especially this early in the year, to make him throw within 2 days of a start. So, and with the off day, technically by the rainout on Tuesday, it just made sense to just kind of keep moving down the next guy in the rotation. And knowing that you had to play this second game in a day, Joe Ryan essentially could make us start, but pick it up in the 3rd inning, and he pitched all of his way into the 9th. So overall, that's just kind of was the Twins' thought process there, was like, hey, let's just move it down the rotation. It'll save us on the bullpen for game 2. And Joe Ryan ended up looking pretty effective. So yeah, it's kind of it's going to look really weird in the stat sheet because it's technically a start for Joe Ryan, but it's also really a relief appearance.
Yeah, well said there. Plenty to get into after, again, 18 innings of play today. Biggest turning points in both these games, plus a little preview of the Kansas City series. That starts on Friday. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download that Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. So quick little recap. Again, doubleheader at home versus Cleveland. Bailey on the mound again, technically for game one. In comes Joe Ryan, though, 4th inning. He gets them all the way to the 9th inning. In comes Duran in the 9th. That's when things get a little hairy, though. You're up 5-2. Cleveland rallies in the 9th. They tie it back up, 3 runs in the 9th. You're thinking, oh, no, here we go. Might be a long day today for the Minnesota Twins. But Cody Clemens delivers the walk-off RBI double to help the Twins win it in the bottom of the 9th. So 6-5 your final in game 1. Game 2, just not much offense for the Twins. Down 2-1 in the 8th. Still a game at that point until Cleveland scores 1 more, then 2 more in the 9th. So 5-1, that's your final there. 27-22 now on the year. Kind of your biggest takeaways, topics, I guess. What stuck out the most today during, again, the 18 innings of play by the Minnesota Twins?
Yeah, it was overall just a gross day today. I think with the weather conditions all week, I mean, anybody who's tried to go outside knows it's just been yucky out there. So I think for them just to get these 2 games in, and obviously there was supposed to be a 3rd game of the series that gets pushed back. That's going to be a doubleheader in like September. Who cares? Like for this series, essentially it was a 2-game series, and for the Twins to come away with a split in all of this, I think is probably just a good outcome in that situation. You really asking for much more would just be getting a little greedy in that sense. So you come away with the split, you win that first game, and the offense got a little weird after that point, but you managed to get a win. You prevented Cleveland from, who had scored 3 runs in the 9th inning, to come back. Cody Clemens ends up walking them off and kind of exercise little demons, because the Twins and Guardians have always played 1-run games over the last 3 years, it's felt like, and the Guardians always seem to walk off the Twins. So it was good to see maybe if Cody Clemens is like a little curse buster in that sense.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Biggest turning point, you may have already touched on 1 or 2 of them there, but biggest turning point from game 1 and 2 was when and why, or maybe not a turning point even if there was just a sequence of events, a fun inning of play, a great play that just really stuck out today for the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, so in game 1, the turning point was really in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Twins were up 4-2 at that point, and they had some runners get on. I believe Ty France got hit by a pitch, and then you had Deshaun Kersey eventually came in and ran for him, and some of these other things. But ultimately, you had Harrison Bader kind of fist a single into center field with a drawn in infield that made it 5-2, and that was important because the Guardians would go on to score 3 runs and to tie the game rather than go up by 1. And maybe the Twins would have won it anyways with Clemens. I know there was another guy on base there, but overall, just the thing of getting that extra run. And if the Twins would have been able to attack on a couple more, they would have won the game without having to walk it off. But either way, like that's just an important, anytime you can pick up a run here or there, you never know when it's going to come back and be needed. And then in game 2, really, I thought the Twins were kind of going to hang around and they could still put up a rally, get a bloop and a blast when they were down 2-1. And then once Carlos Santana hit that solo home run, it kind of just felt like, okay, that might be it. We might not be able to muster like a 3-run inning or 3 runs the rest of the game. That really felt like the turning point for the Twins in that one against Cole Sands, who has been generally pretty good, but has been kind of shaky recently.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I want to take a quick step back with you, and I do want to say we will do a quick preview of the Royals series starting on Friday, so save a little meat and potatoes for that. But the water cooler talk right now, or the Twins group chats, right, when you're texting about your Minnesota Twins right now, when you look at the AL Central, right, where the Twins kind of land in this group, did you expect, the Tigers to look this good this early, and the Twins, Guardians, and Royals all within 1 game of each other? How's it shaking out right now, almost 50 games into the season? Like, what's really sticking out to you the most that's, maybe most noteworthy?
Yeah, I think I really did expect the Twins, Royals, Guardians to all kind of be in the meat grinder. I just kind of expected the Tigers to be in it with them. I think if you would have told me, on May 21st that the Twins, Royals, Tigers, and Guardians would all be separated by like a game or 2 games in the standings, but like, yeah, that sounds about right. Everybody's kind of all in that same tier. But the Tigers having the best record in baseball definitely has been kind of the biggest surprise of the season. I certainly didn't see that coming, but if you kind of assume that the Tigers will fall back down to earth and that 4 teams in the AL Central are just kind of going to be trading places 1 through 4 all summer long, I don't think that would surprise me one bit. I think this is kind of what everybody expected, is that the AL Central was going to be competitive. I don't think they knew it'd be technically the best division in baseball or one of, if you go record-wise, but I think people definitely expected there to be a lot of parity between 1 through 4.
Does run differential do anything for you or anybody nowadays? Because I just think it's funny. The Minnesota Twins and Guardians, right? They're within a half game of each other. Twins got a plus 32. Guardians have a minus 17. So you're talking about, a difference of almost 50 plus runs in the positive aggregate for the Minnesota Twins over the Guardians. Does that tell you in the big picture, long-term, big scheme that the Minnesota Twins maybe right now are a little bit better team than the Guardians, or no?
Yeah, there's run differential. There's the Pythagorean record, which is kind of like basically using all these little things to say how well you've been playing and how well your record should be, all that good stuff. But in terms of run differential, I think it still is an important mark, just like in football and in basketball. You want the point differential. In hockey, you want the goal differential. You want to be able to score more than you allow. That's obviously something that every team wants to do, but it really does tell you who's a good team and who's a not good team, because teams that have a negative run differential, while they can make the playoffs, they don't go on deep playoff runs. They don't win the World Series. Like, they are outliers, statistical anomalies. It is the teams that know how to score runs. And the Guardians are just, they have the devil magic. I don't know what to tell you. They just always find a way to win despite that fact. And the reason is they just pitch well, generally speaking. They always have good bullpens, and they've just played really well in 1-run games. So when you win a lot of games by a run, you're not necessarily padding out that run differential. So that's kind of the reason why Cleveland looks so different compared to Minnesota, is just that the Guardians have been able to win a lot more of those 1-run games.
Yeah, well said there. Good breakdown. Plenty more deep dive, nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. And why I love FanDuel, when you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you hit your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Get some MLB future action while you're there. Twins plus 180 right now to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, nerdy stat of the daytime. Any crazy stat, fun analytic, Twins related from today's doubleheader, or just in general, big picture?
Yeah, I think let's ride the Cody Clemens train for this one. So this was courtesy of Dan Hayes of The Athletic. He tweeted this out after Cody Clemens' walk-off hit in game one of today's kind of doubleheader. Said in 46 plate appearances with the Minnesota Twins, Cody Clemens is hitting a .325 batting average, a .400 on-base percentage, and a .700 slugging percentage with 10 RBIs and 3 game-winning hits since joining the Minnesota Twins.
Wow, unbelievable, man. That is fun. And again, I don't think anybody had the bar set too high for Cody Clemens, but what he's been doing the last couple of weeks has just been a lot of fun, very entertaining, and very refreshing as well, with so many big bats missing in that lineup. Bailey Ober again on the mound technically for that game one. Joe Ryan chewed up 5 more innings. Game 2, it's Chris Paddock. A lot of arms used, it feels like, kind of on paper anyways, for the starters. You burn through a couple big names here in the span of 6-7 hours. Quick grade on Joe Ryan, Chris Paddock, and maybe just the ripple effect now with the day off. You mentioned the day off with the rainout on Tuesday, yesterday, but you're heading into this big series with Kansas City on Friday. What's the whole thing shake out now and look like after this little snowball effect?
Yeah, I think for the starting rotation, I think it generally is going to be okay. And one of the reasons why is you have the off day tomorrow, which is really, really going to be helpful for you. So the entire bullpen gets a reset. Everybody's going to be ready to go into the series starting on Friday. But for the starting rotation, you know, it seems wonky in kind of the immediate, but then when you think about it, Ober made his start in the series. He expected Ryan to make a start in the series, and he expected Paddock to make a start in the series. So your starting rotation still kind of is on track as what you expected coming into the week without any of the weather delays. So the starting rotation still feels right on track. Pablo Lopez is going to anchor that game one against the Royals, a team he does really well against, which is good. And I think if you're the Twins, you just make sure everybody kind of got some work in who needed it today in this game. Obviously, it was close for a while, but overall, the Twins bullpen sitting in a good spot. So's the rotation. Everybody kind of got a little bit of work in today, but you had a mini off day with the rain out on Monday for the bullpen. Also no game on Tuesday, and then now an off day tomorrow. So really coming into the, a nice big 3-game series against Kansas City, as big as one can be in May, the Twins are going to have their bullpen be fully rested heading into the weekend.
Yeah, good stuff there. Plenty more deep dive. Quick little series preview from the Royals matchup starting on Friday. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members to date. And for me and my money, I swear by it. It's just by far the easiest. It's the most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. It's so simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats, and you can watch the winnings roll in. Strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, stolen bases, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, another big test here, right? Friday, Kansas City Royals on deck starting Friday. All 3 of these teams, mentioned it, Twins, KC, Cleveland, clumped together, fighting for this second place behind Detroit right now. Quick scouting report, 60 seconds on Kansas City and kind of how they match up with the Twins just on paper.
Yeah, this is a Kansas City Royals team the Twins saw in Kansas City in a 4-game series back in early April, and the Royals took 3 out of 4 from the Twins. But really, I expect things to be much different this time around. Mainly, the Twins' offense figured out how to score more than 1 run in a game, so that's going to be beneficial. But especially because the Twins starters have definitely found their footing. They've been a top 5 starting rotation in Major League Baseball over the last 6 weeks, and the Kansas City Royals are a bottom 5 offense in baseball. I know they have Bobby Witt Jr., but outside of that, they've really struggled to score runs. They're a bottom 5 offense when you look at slugging percentage, weighted runs created, WAR, all of that stuff. So this is a team that the Twins can really take advantage of and really kind of expect it to be one of those series that's going to lean more on the pitching, because just as we talk about the Twins pitching staff with a 3.2 ERA, the Kansas City Royals team pitching staff has a 3.01. So we're going to see a lot of pitchers duels this weekend.
All right, well said there. Can't wait for that. Twins enjoy a nice day off tomorrow, but again, split the doubleheader with Cleveland today. 27 and 22 now on the year. Huge shout out. All you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen, all you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game, make sure you like and subscribe. Go check out all CJ's work at BombCJ30 on X, plus all the work he's always ripping up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Again, day off tomorrow, then 3 with KC starting on Friday. 7:10 first pitch. Pablo on the mound for game 1. We'll catch you right here, same time, same place. Till then, signing out.